tonight's boat ride distribution keys to the game. Garner's going to need to keep their heads level in this contest. Don't let too much of the emotion get to them. They're going to have to play their basketball game tonight, as they can't let the crowd pick, or they can't let Clayton pick the momentum. Garner has to come out and do it. The Blue Crew in full force tonight, a neon out. Lime greens, yellows all over the place. Clayton's got the jumping up and down, shaking all the Trojan Sports Network equipment. We're in for an entertaining night tonight. Hope you enjoy this one. Gary Clark and Alex Reed are in the circle, set to tip. 8 minutes on the clock, first quarter of play. Matt Sanderson with you. You're listening to the Trojan Sports Network. That wraps up the Chick-fil-A pregame show. We are set to go from Garner High School. Clayton and Garner. Gary Clark wins the tip. We are underway in tonight's contest. Dawson Medlin gives it off to his point guard, Chris Dixon. Dixon will start things off. Gives it into the hands of Trey Armstead. Top of the key, straight to the wing. Now dumps it over onto the right wing. They get down to Dixon. Now Medlin over with it in the right corner. Get it down to Gary Clark, working in the left block. He puts up a one-hand hook shot. Good for the first 2 points of the contest for Gary Clark. Garner the other way. Kyrie's Mills on the left arc, kicks it over to Justin Barrett. He drives baseline, pulled up for a jump shot on the left block. Over the big man, Gary Clark. Count that one, Justin Barrett. Now the other way, Trey Armstead for the Clayton Comets. Tie ball game at 2, 7:21 to play. They get it over to the corner to Medlin. Now Armstead with it. Finds an open man. They get it back into the hands of Trey Armstead. Over with it in the right corner. Into the hands of Gary Clark. They drop it back. Up to the hands of Dawson Medlin. Medlin gets it down low to Clark. Back to Clark. Pulling up for a deep three. No good. Rebound fought around for. Tried to tip it in. Alex Reed will get credit for it. Julius Barnes up the other side. Drives the lane. Puts up a floater off the back of the rim. Justin Baird came away with the rebound. He puts up a shot. Was fouled, but will head to the free throw line. Justin Baird to the free throw line. Foul went to Jake Turner. Turner's first. Second free throw for Baird falls through. Garner leads 3-2, 6:44 to play, first quarter. Trey Armstead brings it across the floor. Tried to get it down low to Gary Clark. He did. Alex Reed tried to tie him up. A foul is called. Clark will head to the free throw line for 2 shots. Alex Reed will be called for the foul, his first, team's first as well. Gary Clark bends at the knee, puts up a shot, bounces off the back iron, no good. Gary Clark, a big man, 6'8", 215, a senior. Will be playing for Mick Cronin next year at the University of Cincinnati. He'll be a Bearcat. Clark's second free throw falls. Garner on the other side. Over to Alex Reed. He pulls up for 3, left it short. Rebound fell into the hands of Clark. Clark will push it up the other side. The big man playing point guard. Tried to split 2 defenders. Instead, kicked it up to the top of the key, and Chris Dixon. Dixon will reset the offense, guarded by Julius Barnes. Dixon picks his dribble up, gets it into Clark. Clark working for the free throw line, makes him spin move. Spin moves, goes up and under, counted for 2. Julius Barnes on the other side. Over to Alex Reed, now Kyrie Mills, the left arc. He drives towards the lane, puts up a floater, no good. Rebound, Gary Clark snags it. 5-3, Clayton leads, 6 minutes to go. First quarter, over to the hands of Dixon. They get it into Medlin. Dixon now with it over on the right arc. He's gonna pull up for 3, count it. Garner, Julius Barnes trying to push it up the floor the other way. Thomas Allen was trying to get the pass. Medlin tried to deflect it. He stepped out of bounds. Thomas Allen inbound for the Trojans, gets it into the hands of Julius Barnes. Barnes comes across the timeline midcourt. 8-3, Trojans trail. Barnes picked up his dribble, gave it to Thomas Allen on a reverse pass. Medlin knocked it loose. Gary Clark picked it up. Clark will now jog it up the floor. Right-hand dribble, gives it back to his guard, Trey Armstead. Armstead, the sophomore, looking to make something happen. Gives it over to the hands of Jake Turner. Turner got it down to Gary Clark. Garner tipped it away, but they were unable to pick the ball up as it slipped through the legs of Justin Barrett out of bounds, and it remained Clayton basketball. Medlin to inbound baseline underneath. Finds Turner over on the right wing. His three no good. Rebound tipped around. Julius Barnes picks it up. Barnes up to Mills and Thomas Allen both at the same time. Allen picked it up, gives it over to Alex Reed, who pulls up for an easy jumper. Took his time, set his feet, and knocked it down. 8-5. Trojans trail with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. Into the hands of Medlin. He has it on the right wing. Anticipated pass by Julius Barnes. Barnes goes up for a left-hand layup. Taps the glass after putting it in. Telegraph the pass. Julius Barnes able to make it count for two on the other side. Trey Armstead with it. Kicks it over to the hands of Jake Turner. Turner over in the left corner. Where he found Chris Dixon. Now they get it to Medlin over right wing three. That one's no good. Bounced out. Rebound fought around for Justin Baird will take it from Trey Armstead. As they both fight for it, it'll be Garner basketball. 8-7, 4:29 to go, first quarter of play. Alex Reed to inbound, gives it into the hands of Julius Barnes. Barnes sporting the tape on the right wrist. Suffered an injury earlier in football season. Has had that wrist taped up ever since when he's playing sports. Barnes drives, goes up with a shot, trying to give it over to Gary Clark, or trying to get it over to the hands of Justin Baird. Julius Barnes ended up picking up a foul as Gary Clark had it on the other side. His first, Clark's second. Sorry, his first, Garner's second. On Julius Barnes, Armstead now with it, gives it over to Jake Turner. Turner back into the hands of Armstead. Armstead with a dribble just inside the front court. Over to the hands of Dixon. They find Turner again. Turner double teamed by Kyrese Mills and Thomas Allen. They eventually get into the hands of Gary Clark. He finds Dixon. Dixon over to Medlin, who thought about a right corner three but gave it back into the hands of Chris Dixon. Dixon top of the key, resets the offense, gives it to Armstead over the right wing. They get it down low. Gary Clark working against Alex Reed. Tried to lay it in, no good. Got his own rebound. That one's no good. Came down with it again. Foul called this time. Count the basket, Gary Clark. Alex Reed's second foul, team's third. Gary Clark at the free throw line. He's 1 for 2 so far. High jump off the backboard. It's no good. Alex Reed came away with a rebound. Julius Barnes now pushed it up the floor. 10-7, Trojans trail. 3:30 to go, first quarter. Mills gonna pull up for three. No good. Rimmed in and out. Gary Clark tipped the rebound. Justin Baird came away with it. Made a big man move and lays it in with the right hand. Justin Baird good for 2 more points. Armstead with it over on the other side. He's gonna look to make something happen here. Over to the hands of Medlin. They get it down low to Clark, who gets it to a cutting Dixon. Dixon shot too hard. Justin Baird came away with the rebound, gives it to his guard, Julius Barnes. Coach Gray urging his team, push it up the floor. Barnes working from the right wing, gives it to Baird. Baird cutting towards the free throw line. Alex Reed, right block floater, no good. Gary Clark at a sky high for the rebound, pushes it up the floor into the hands of Medlin. Medlin pulls up for three from the right wing. It's no good, bounces high over the backboard and out of bounds. John Alston will enter into the contest. He came in for Alex Reed. Thomas Allen, now the guard, he pushes it up the floor. Gives it into the hands of Kyrese Mills. 10-9, 2:38 to go. Trojans trail. Mills dribbling just inside the front court center. ISO for the Trojans. Mills pulls up for a jumper. Might have been fouled on the contact. Either way, count it. Garner claims the lead. Jake Turner now with it into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead looking to make something happen for his team. Gives it back over to the hands of Turner. Turner to a cutting Dixon down low. Thought about a right corner three. Instead, John Alston guards him. Tries to drive right baseline. Might have traveled, no call. still was able to put it up and knock a shot down. Just laid it in, got a lucky bounce. Julius Barnes thought about pulling up for three and picked up his dribble. A foul be called as Armstead was all over him. Trey Armstead will be called for the foul, his first, team's second. Entering the contest is Xavier Williams for Clayton. 12-11, Clayton leads. A minute 54 left in the first quarter of play. Tyrese Mills gets it. He'll get it over into the hands of Julius Barnes. Still looking to come across the front court. Barnes goes behind the back, finally does. Thomas Allen now with it. He thought about a three straight away. Instead, kicks to Julius Barnes. Deep three, no good. Kicked off the corner in between the rim and the backboard. Gary Clark finds the rebound in his hand. He gives it into the hands of Jake Turner. Turner with it. Top of the key. Kicks it over to the right arc. They had an open man down low. It was Xavier Wilson. Mills had left him open. Shot was missed. Mills came away with a rebound. Barnes pushing up the floor. Thomas Allen thought about a right wing three. Instead gives it to Baird. Baird driving in from the right elbow. Counted for two. Justin Baird stepping up for the Trojans. The 6'1", 190-pound senior looking to make something happen. Trojans lead 13-12 with coming up on a minute and 6 to go in the first quarter. Deep three attempted by Armstead. It's no good. Xavier Williams runs away, grabs the rebound, put it in the backcourt. Armstead saved it from going into the backcourt. Actually, Chris Dixon pulls up for three. His shot short. Thomas Allen came away with the rebound. Numbers for the Trojans, 3-on-2. Bounce pass down low. Mills lost control of it. And they're going to say Mills stepped on the out-of-bounds line as Gary Clark had gained control of the basketball. Paris Tinsley and Jay-Sean Smith will enter for the Trojans. John Elson and Thomas Allen will get a breather. 46 seconds to play in the first quarter. 13-12, Trojans lead. Trey Armstead with it for Clayton. Over to the right corner and Chris Dixon. Now they get it back to Turner, top of the key. Over to the left arc, into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead over to Turner. He's going to drive, goes straight. Paris Tinsley bangs into him. Count the basket by Jake Turner. Paris Tinsley's first, team's fourth. Sub will come in. It is Kevin Jones. Fourteen, 13. Turner at the free throw line will bend at the knee, put the shot up. It rolls around the rim, no good. Jay-Sean Smith came away with a rebound. It was stripped away on the other side. Gary Clark now with it. He goes up for a shot. It's no good. Jay-Sean Smith will draw the rebound. Gary Clark's to the free throw line. Don't know who the foul was on. Julius Barnes is going to get called for a foul. His second, team's fifth. I don't know about that one. Gary Clark will knock both of them down from the free throw line. Julius Barnes will drive the lane, kick the pass to Jay-Sean Smith. He goes up with it with four guys around him and puts it down. Easy layup for Jay-Sean Smith. Tie ball game at 15. 5 seconds left. Turner with it. Over to the hands of Gary Clark. Deep three, left it short. Tinsley came away with a rebound, and that'll end the first quarter of play. After 8 minutes, we're still even in this one. Tie ball game at 15. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. Tie tie ball game at 15 after 1 quarter of play. Not a whole lot special that had jumped out to you after that first quarter of play. Garner is winning the battle on the boards 9-7 over the Comets, something that we're certainly going to keep an eye on. And keep in mind, Gary Clark dropped 33 points on this Trojan team the first time around. They're changing the foul call that was originally on Julius Barnes to Ja'Shawn Smith. That was just announced into the scorer's table. I thought that foul was on Ja'Shawn when it was called, but the referee forgot who he was calling the foul on and gave it to Julius Barnes, as Barnes is the closest player to the table at the time. He's now changing that to give it. Gary Clark with it down to the bottom of the paint, gives it into Kyrese Mills for the Trojans. Trojans on the other side. Julius Barnes gonna pull up left arc three. Julius Barnes has struck from three-point land. Watch for him to heat up from there. 18-15, Trojans lead by 3, 7:37. Trying to attempt an alley-oop, and a foul's gonna be called. Coach Gray is irate, and he has every right to be on that one. Parrish Tinsley picks up the foul. I think it's gonna be a foul on the floor. As Clark didn't have possession of the basketball, they were attempting an alley-oop. Coach Gray still working the official. Medlin with the inbound, got it into Gary Clark, gives it over into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead with it, finds Jake Turner. A foul is called. And Kyrese Mills is gonna be called for a hand check. Referees are not shy about using the whistle. After the inbounds, they decide that referees didn't pay attention to how many fouls there were. It's a 1-and-1 situation for Clayton. Ball was already in bounds when it was finally realized. 18-15, 7:30 to go. Shot was no good. Kyrese Mills came away with a rebound. Gives it into the hands of Julius Barnes. Barnes pushing it up the floor. He's going to pull up, this time from the right side. No good. Rebound fought around for. Ripped away by Trey Armstead. Armstead going to push it up the floor. Finds Medlin open. They now try to give it to Jake Turner. He was unable to control it. And they're going to call Julius Barnes for a foul. Barnes is second, and that'll bring Darius Simmons into the lineup. Turner hit the first one. He'll have one more attempt. 2 for 8 from the free throw line so far in the ball game for the Clayton Comets. Jake Turner, a 5'10" senior, knocks down both of them. 18-17, Trojans lead by 1, 7-11 to go in the first half of play. Kyrese Mills brings it back to the top of the court. He'll reset the offense. Off the pick from Parrish Tinsley. He thought about putting up a shot, gave it down to Tinsley. Tinsley went up with it, and he'll get the basket. Had it partially blocked away from him, was able to get it back, and that'll count. Gary Clark with it, spins against Parrish Tinsley. Tinsley got a piece of the shot. Darius Simmons pushed from behind, and we're going to see a foul called. Basket was no good. Parrish Tinsley thought he had the basket, but instead a foul was called on Chris Dixon, his first, team's third. (20 to 17), Trojans lead by 3. 6:40 to go in the first quarter, in the second quarter of play. Darius Simmons over to Justin Barrett in the left block, or in the left wing. Now back to Simmons, just inside the front court. Simmons will dribble, left hand, and look to make something happen. Pick from Paris Tinsley over to the hands of Kyrese Mills. Mills drives, faked a shot, gave it over to Jay-Sean Smith. Gary Clark's going to get credit for a block. He brings it up the other side of the floor, out of control, but still able to put it in off the right block. 20-19, Trojans lead. Kyrese Mills rushes a shot, no good. Rebound fought around for Jay-Sean Smith with it. He puts up a shot. Paris Tinsley rips away the rebound. Justin Baird fade away, no good. Jay-Sean Smith came away with a rebound. He gets it down and puts it in for two. 22-19. Trey Armstead now with it over to the hands of Jake Turner. Turner down low into the corner. Going driving, going up for a shot, and drawing the foul. Looked to be Chris Dixon. Foul will go to Paris Tinsley, quickly picking up his third. Chris Dixon will head to the free throw line for Clayton. He misses the first shot, and Xavier Williams will enter into the contest. An exciting crowd tonight, as they are certainly into this ball game. Second free throw is no good. Jay-Sean Smith came away with a rebound. Gets it into the hands of Darius Simmons. Simmons over to Kyrese Mills. Thought about a right block three. Now drives the right baseline, and a blocking foul called on Xavier Williams. It'll be on the floor. Xavier Williams picks up his first, team's fourth. Kevin Jones will enter into the contest. 22-19. 5:30 to go, second quarter of play. Justin Baird to inbound underneath the basket. Looking for an open man. Bounce pass to Paris Tinsley, and Gary Clark's going to be called for a reach around. There for a hold. Justin Baird to inbound, gets it into Kyrese Mills over on the right wing. Mills drives right baseline. Faked like he was going to Paris Tinsley, and a reverse layup by Kyrese Mills. Trey Armstead with it, comes across the timeline. Picked up by Darius Simmons. Gary Clark with it, works against Paris Tinsley. Tinsley got a little too much body on him, and Clark will head to the free throw line once again. Gary Clark will pick up his fourth foul, and Gary Clark will head to the free throw line. Gary Clark will knock down the free throw. He knocks down both of them. Darius Simmons with it, over into the hands of Kyrese Mills. Mills with a dribble. Just inside the front court, calls for Paris Tinsley. He thought about pulling up, now gives it to Darius Simmons. Simmons pulls up from the free throw line, double clutch, banks it in. Darius Simmons, two guards on the board for the Trojans. Trey Armstead gets it into Gary Clark. He one-hand passes it over back to Armstead. 26-21, 4:43 to go, second quarter of play. Trojans lead. Armstead went in for a shot. Now tried to dump a pass over to the hands of Xavier Williams. Williams eventually gave it into the hands of Kevin Jones. A three knocked down by Trey Armstead as he fell to the ground. Now Garner will bring it up on the other side. Darius Simmons thought about pulling up 4-1. A wild shot. He'll head to the free throw line for two. Foul goes to 44, Xavier Williams, his second, team sixth. Darius Simmons led to the free throw line. First one falls, and John Alston will enter in for Paris Tinsley. Simmons will knock down both shots. Bringing up on the other side of the floor will be Jake Turner. They get it down low, quickly into the hands of Xavier Williams. Now up for a three is Jake Turner. His shot no good. Rebound fought around for. Williams came up with it. Now quickly into the hands of Chris Dixon. Dixon back to Jake Turner. Turner over into the left corner. Kevin Jones. He thought about it. Now throws a high cross-court pass over to the hands of Chris Dixon. Dixon forces it into the hands of Xavier Wilson, and Dixon's going to pull up right corner three. No good. Rebound fought around for. Gary Clark rips away the rebound. Had the height advantage and used it. Eventually over to the hands of Jake Turner. Dixon had a chance for a right wing three, but he was unable to do it. Attempting an errant shot was Xavier Williams, and it'll be Garner basketball. 28-24, 3:26 to go in the second quarter of play. Darius Simmons looking to make something happen. Moves over to the left side, right in front of the scorer's table. Now over to Kyrie Mills on the right. This is all happening inside the front court. Simmons over to Mills. Mills top of the key. Now Baird. Court very spaced for the Trojans right now, doing a great job of it. Bounce pass down low to John Alston from Kyrie Mills. Alston was unable to get it. Kyrie Mills, how about just ripping it away there? Mills missed the shot, ends up coming away with a rebound. Darius Simmons forces a three. It's no good. Rebound tipped up, fought around for Mills. Flies in, picks up this rebound as well. Darius Simmons with it, top of the key. He's going to reset the offense. Now over into the hands of Kyrie Mills. Mills thought about pulling up for a left three. And a foul is called on Kevin Jones. His first bonus situation for the Trojans. Kyrie Mills heads to the free throw line. Mills at the free throw line. He sinks the first one on the one-on-one opportunity. (29-24) Trojans lead. Bend at the waist. Kyrie Mills knocks down both one-and-one opportunities. Jake Turner comes across the free throw line. Or the midcourt stripe, kicks it over into the corner, and Chris Dixon. Dixon drives all the way to the basket, drew a foul as he went up. And John Alston will be called for the foul, his first. Double bonus situation for the Comets. To the free throw line shooting two is Chris Dixon. There was a foul on the shot anyway, so either way it was two shots. Dixon misses the first one. Struggling at the free throw line of the Clayton Comets today. They're 6 for 14. Second free throw is up and falls. First made free throw for Dixon tonight. He's been to the stripe 4 times. Darius Simmons to John Alston. They give it to Justin Baird on the reverse pass. Baird with it, gives it back into the hands of DK. Simmons drives past his man. Probably should have kept going to the basket. Instead, gives it to Kyrie Mills. Working on that left side. Mills drives to the basket, lost control of the basketball, came into the open hands of Xavier Williams. They get it into the hands of Trey Armstrong. Armstrong over to Jake Turner, whose three falls. That'll keep the Clayton fans happy. 30-28 with 1:53 to go. First half of play. Jay Sean Smith pulls up, right corner, right wing three, no good. Rebound came into the hands of Gary Clark. Quickly the other way. Clark forces a pass down low. Kyrie Mills intercepted it, was looking for Chris Dixon. Mills slows it up as he comes across the half-court stripe. Now to the hands of Justin Baird. Baird to Mills. Now over to Darius Simmons, top of the key. Simmons is going to be fouled and will head to the free throw line as Jake Turner picks up his second. Team's 8th. Darius Simmons to the line for a 1-and-1. Simmons knocks down the first one. second one, no good. Gary Clark comes away with a rebound, gives it into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead will come across the timeline, right in the middle. Gives it over to Jake Turner, a bounce pass down low. Gary Clark ended up picking up a loose ball and slammed it home with one hand. 31-30 with a minute 10 to go. First half of play, second quarter. Kyrese Mills touches the left side of his head, calls the play. Mills gives it over to Jay-Sean Smith. Now into the hands of Kyrese Mills. Mills gives it over to Darius Simmons on a reverse pass, keeping the ball just inside the front court. Now over to Jay-Sean Smith. Smith gives it back to Simmons. Simmons working on the right side. Pulls it back out and goes top of the key. Now drives from the free throw line, gives it on a pass to Jay-Sean Smith. Smith wasn't able to handle the pass cleanly, had to dribble, and his open shot was no longer there. Simmons now working, 35 seconds left. Tried to give it on a pass down to John Alston. It was no good. And ended up going out of bounds, resulting in a Trojan turnover, 31-30. With 32.7 seconds left in the first half of play. Armstead with it. Kicks it over into the hands of Cameron Newkirk, who just entered the contest. Back into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead into the hands of Newkirk. Newkirk back to Armstead, top of the key. Still working. Newkirk with it, gives it over to the hands of Gary Clark. Clark making moves. John Alston's going to draw the foul. Count the basket. Gary Clark just uses the long arms and lays that one in. An impressive move by Gary Clark. John Alston picks up his second double bonus situation. However, it'll be one shot as it's a +1 scenario for Gary Clark. Clark able to knock down the free throw. Jay-Sean Smith gets the inbound to Kyrese Mills. He just lobs one up. It's no good. 31-33 at halftime. Clayton leads. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network.
So we have here Miss Abby. She is a 1-year-old pit mix. She weighs about 40 pounds. She came to us with several little babies, and they have been adopted since she came in the center, but unfortunately she has not found a home yet. So she is looking for her forever home. She knows a few commands. She knows how to sit and she knows how to go down. She's very quiet in the center. She's a really, really sweet girl, and she'd love to sit with you around the fireplace and just cuddle. So please come to our center at 820 Beacon Lake Drive, and you can also see her on our website at wakegov.com/pets, and our number is 919-212-7387. Hope to see you soon.
Welcome you back into as we wrap up the Garner Pop Warner football and cheerleading halftime show. Trojans trail 33-31 in a competitive first half of play as we continue to get set for the second half. Two very talented teams and some great players in this contest. Kyrese Mills is second in the scoring for Trojans as he's got 6 points through one half of play. Justin Baird leads the Trojans with 7. Including going 1 for 2 from the free throw stripe. $18 points for Gary Clark in the first half of play. Garner's certainly going to look to keep track of that, as the first time they played, Gary Clark knocked down 33 points. As we get set to come out in the second half of play. 12 team fouls called on the Trojans in that first half, 8 called on the Comets. At the end of the first quarter, we were tied at 15, and then that took us into this halftime lead of 33-31 for the Clayton Comets. It'll be Garner basketball coming out in the second half of play. Mills, Barnes, Baird, Reed, and Allen on the floor for the Garner Trojans. Kyrie's Mills will give it to Julius Barnes. We're underway in the second half. Mills with it, top of the key, straight of the way. Gives it into the hands of Thomas Allen on a reverse pass. Now that three-man weave for the Trojans. Alex Reed with it from Julius Barnes. Now to Justin Baird. Baird to Kyrie's Mills. Mills looking to make something happen. Goes to the free throw line. Crosses up Jake Turner, but he lost control of the basketball. Turner came away with the basketball. They now push it up to the other side of the floor. Turner going to pull up for a deep three. No good. Julius Barnes waits with open arms underneath the basket for the rebound. Barnes drives to the basket, puts up a floater, knocks it down. Tie ball game at 33, 7:23 to go. First basket for the Trojans here in the second half. Now a three-point shot attempted by Trey Armstrong. Bounces high off the rim and eventually falls in. Barnes with it for the Trojans on the other side. Over to Kyrie's Mills. Mills on the reverse to Thomas Allen. Not a good handoff, and the ball came into the hands of Dawson Medlin. Medlin gives it into the hands of Clark. He drives to the basket. Garner just lets him go through. He missed the shot. Rebound, fought around for. Barnes unable to come up with it. Eventually, Chris Dixon hits the floor. He tried to lob one up to Gary Clark. It was no good. Clark just turns around and pounds it down. That's what happens when you're 6'8" and can throw down the basketball just like that. Coach Gray wants a timeout. (38-33). You hear the Clayton Comets letting the Blue Crew know that Gary Clark will be headed to Cincinnati to go play his college basketball. (38-33), 6:43 to go in the Boat Ride Distribution third quarter of play. Julius Barnes with it. Moves on to the right side. Sammy Saunders into the contest for the first time, touches the ball. Now Kyrie's Mills, top of the key, straight of the way. He puts up a left-hand float shot, no good. Alex Reed just tipped it in. The freshman adding 2 more points onto his total tonight. Trey Armstead comes across the timeline, kicks it over to the right side, and Medlin finds Dixon deep in the right corner, and now they go back to Medlin. He's going to go back to Dixon, trying to get it down low into Gary Clark, who's almost triple-teamed. An open man in Jake Turner. A quick pass to him, left his feet, and just laid it in. Barnes on the other side for the Trojans to Mills, now back to Barnes. Barnes going to drive, puts up a floater over Clark, no good. Alex Reed there to tip it around. Ball still tipped around, eventually comes into the hands of Dixon. Kyrie's Mills intercepts it and just lays it in for 2. Mills doing a great job of having floor vision there. 37-40, 5:43 to go in the Boat Ride Distribution third quarter. Armstead over to the hands of Medlin, a quick pass into the hands of Dixon on the right elbow. Now, Armstead, deep three, no good. Rebound tipped around. Sammy Saunders tipped it out of bounds as he had Gary Clark blocked out. Medlin set to inbound, gets it into the hands of Clark. Clark palms the ball, gives it over to Jake Turner. Turner down to Gary Clark, working in the bottom of the key, and he was bumped hard by Sammy Saunders. Saunders' first foul, team's first of the second half of play, and Gary Clark will head to the free throw line. Clayton coming off of a 47-40 victory over the Eastwake Warriors. Clark knocks down the first one, 9 for 17 in the contest. Clayton is overall at the free throw line. They lead 41-37 with 5:26 to go in the third quarter. Both free throws fall for Gary Clark. Julius Barnes on the other side. Barnes dumps into Alex Reed. Reed now finds Kyrie Mills. He drives baseline right, and a foul is called on a push to Jake Turner. Jake Turner picks up his third, team's first, and that'll bring Chris Dixon back into the ballgame. Julius Barnes into the hands of Kyrese Mills. Barnes now gets it, trying to get it down low to Alex Reed, but instead they go to Kyrese Mills. He steps back out into the front court and will reset the offense. Mills gives it over to Justin Baird. Baird thought about driving right baseline, pulled up for a jumper, left it short. Rebound fought around for Gary Clark, eventually comes away with it. Clark dribbling through traffic, and Justin Baird's going to be called for a foul. Coach Gray's up in the air about it. He didn't like the call, neither did Justin Baird. Trey Armstead will bring it up the floor. Gives it over into the hands of Medlin. Medlin, they eventually get it over to Dixon over in the corner. They go back to Medlin. His left wing three off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound fought around for. Dixon came away with it, and Alex Reed came over the top of him. Alex Reed will pick up his third, team's third as well, to the free throw line for 2 shots is Chris Dixon. Dixon has not fared well at the free throw line. He is 1 for 6 after that shot. Sorry, 1 for 5 pending the shot. 42-37, 4:40 to go, boat ride distribution, third quarter. That one will fall, make that 2 for 6 for Chris Dixon. Barnes on the other side. Tried to cross his man up over to Alex Reed. Now Darius Simmons with it on the right wing. Simmons will reset the offense, give it back to Julius Barnes on the left side of the front court. Off a pick from Alex Reed. Barnes thought about pulling up for 3, instead changes direction quickly. Almost lost his balance, just threw it off a man, and a late foul is going to be called. Julius Barnes picks up his third, team's fourth. Trey Armstead over to the hands of Chris Dixon. Armstead back to Dixon. Dixon working with it. Gives it over to the hands of Armstead. Armstead to Medlin. Gary Clark 3. He's going to be fouled. Sammy Saunders knew it. Sammy Saunders picks up his second, team's 5th. And we haven't even played 4 minutes in the boat ride distribution third quarter, as first free throw falls for Gary Clark. Clark will have 3 free throw attempts. Jay-Sean Smith thought he could come in on that second one, but he'll have to wait for that third one as Clark misses the second one. 12 for 21 in total on the day. Clark will bend from the legs, attempts the shot, no good. Rebound came into the hands of Jay-Sean Smith. Barnes with it over to Darius Simmons. 44-37, 3:55 to go in the boat ride distribution, third quarter of play. Simmons looking to make something happen, drives towards the middle of the basket, now just lobs one into Julius Barnes. Barnes gets it into Alex Reed. Reed tries to make a big man move, puts a shot up, it dribbles around the rim a little bit, and then falls through. Armstead comes across the floor for the Comets. Now looking for a man to give the basketball to. Garner in that 2-3 zone. Get it into Gary Clark at the free throw line. They find Medlin. Give it back to Clark. Clark goes up with a shot. Just a big pro hop by the 6'8", 215-pound senior, and he lays it in. Julius Barnes going to pull up for 3. Left that one short. Clark came away with the rebound. 46-39, 3:08 to go. Third quarter of play. One hand, quick pass down low. That shot no good. Kevin Jones then fell to the floor. The Clayton fans want to foul. Darius Simmons goes over to the other side, lays it in for 2. His first 2 points of the second half. 46-41, 2:47 to go. Gary Clark with it. Over to the hands of Medlin on the right corner. Medlin working with it. Now looking to make something happen. Gets it into the hands of Armstead. Armstead dribble drives, pulls up with a floater, no good, left it short. Julius Barnes comes away with it. Barnes quickly the other way. Numbers for the Trojans. Barnes goes up with one, floats it in, drops it good for 2 more points. 46-43, Garner's pulled it to within 3 and a timeout. Called by Clayton, and they want a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here on the Trojan Sports Network. Garner winning the rebound battle 20-17. 46-43, Trojans trail with 2:23 to go, third quarter of play. Cleaning up some water over on the Clayton sideline. Gary Clark showing he can be an All-American type player. He's over there cleaning up the water, got the shoe in it. Garner set to defend there in that 2-3 zone once again. It's been a successful 2-3 zone for the Trojans in the past. Trey Armstead walking up the floor with it, the right-handed dribble, now cuts to the left side. Gives it over into the hands of Medlin. Medlin, a bounce pass down low to Gary Clark. Clark goes up with a shot. And he'll head to the free throw line for 2 more. Justin Baird called for his second, team 6th. Clark to the free throw line. Clark drops the first one down. Been to the free throw line 2 other times in this third quarter. Hit 2 shots, and then with 3 free throws, he made the first one, missed the last 2. He misses the second one on this one. Julius Barnes pushing it up the floor. Darius Simmons for 3, bounces off the back iron. Rebound came into the hands of Kevin Jones. Jones gives it over to the hands of Chris Dixon, and Dixon will push it up the floor. Dixon over to Jones on that right side. Now they give it back to Armstead. Armstead with it, he works, gives it over into the hands of Dixon. Dixon down low, into the hands of Kevin Jones. He rides the baseline and drops it in for his first 2 points of the night. Julius Barnes with it, looking to make something happen. Gives it to Ja'Shawn Smith, just inside the arc. His shot no good. Ja'Shawn Smith comes away with a rebound, and Kyrie Mills set to re-enter for the Trojans. A simple, easy pass to Trey Armstead. They will walk it up the floor, tick time off this clock. 1:28 seconds left to go in the boat ride distribution, third quarter, 49-43. Dixon with it. They get it over into the hands of Kevin Jones. Jones gives it to Gary Clark. Clark double teamed, a quick one-hand sniper pass to Chris Dixon down low, and Dixon drops it in for 2. Julius Barnes over on the left wing. He tried to make a move, got his man going. Fadeaway shot, no good. Ja'Shawn Smith came away with a rebound. Justin Baird comes away with that one. Gary Clark swats that one away. Smith loses control of the basketball. Gary Clark the other way. A foul, nope. We're going to see a foul called on Alex Reed on what probably should have been a travel. Alex Reed's 4th foul. It'll be a 1-and-1 situation. And Gary Clark will head to the free throw line. (51-43) with 54 seconds left to go in the boat ride distribution third quarter. Clark to the free throw line for a 1-and-1 opportunity. That one no good. Kyrie Mills is going to come away with a rebound. Julius Barnes pushing up the floor for the Trojans. Drives in the middle of the paint. Puts up a shot. He was fouled on the way up. And Austin Wolf will be called for his first, team 2nd. Garner is 6 for 8 at the free throw line, and Julius Barnes will head that way. A 5'8", 145-pound super junior, as the living legend Larry Beck would call him. Barnes will knock down his first free throw. First free throw of the night for Julius Barnes, making it count. 51-44, Trojans trail. Barnes will sink both of them, and Coach Gray wants a 30-second timeout. That's going to give us a chance to take a timeout as well. With 47 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Garner trails 51-45. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. 51-45 with 47 seconds left to go in the third quarter of play. Trojans trail in this contest. Been a tight one all day. It was tied at 15 after the end of the first quarter. 33-31, Clayton led at halftime, and they've been able to expand that lead here in the second half. Cameron Newkirk with it. He's going to drive the lane. Now kicks it back out into the hands of Gary Clark, almost unable to handle the pass. Over on the right wing, he tries to move around Kyrese Mills. Pass to Jake Turner. He was open. Passed up the shot. Gives it into the hands of Newkirk. Newkirk drives, puts up a floater over Jay Sean Smith. Darius Simmons had his man boxed out, but Newkirk was still able to come away with a rebound. He put a fadeaway shot good for his first 2 points of the night. Trojans on the other side. Julius Barnes drives the lane, goes up with it. Count the basket! Julius Barnes +1. Barnes bends at the knee, puts up the free throw. He's hit all his free throws so far, including that one. 53-48, 17 seconds left. Jake Turner comes across the timeline. Gives it over into the hands of Cameron Newkirk. Newkirk over into the hands of Gary Clark, and Clark lays it in for another easy two. Julius Barnes unable to hit the shot to end the Boatwright Distribution third quarter. It's 55-48. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. Got the clarification taken care of, and we are underway in the fourth quarter of play. Jake Turner with it, gives it over to the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead over to Medlin. Clayton quickly at a fast pace. They get it down low. Jay Sean Smith thought he blocked the shot, but Chris Dixon was able to lay it in for two. Julius Barnes over to the hands of Justin Baird. Now, Darius Simmons drives the lane and forces it back out. Gives it to Julius Barnes. Barnes three no good. Almost takes the head off of Jay Sean Smith. Darius Simmons drives to the basket, and Gary Clark's going to be called for a foul. Gary Clark picks up his second, team's fourth, and at the line shooting two is Darius Simmons. He hits the first one. He's hit all his free throws so far tonight. Knocks down that one as well, so 5 free throws for Darius Simmons, and they've all gone well. 57-50, 7-point game with 7:29 to go in the ball game. A high pass over to Chris Dixon. Dixon thought about driving, putting it in the basket, but instead kicks it back out to the top of the key, and Jake Turner. Turner, open, Derek Medlin, left wing, left it short, put it in the corner. Gary Clark skies for a rebound, makes a spin move on Justin Baird, and lays it in for two. Gary Clark's size, he's using it tonight. Jay Sean Smith on the other side, slams it home for the Trojans. Back into the hands of Trey Armstead. Armstead into the hands of Chris Dixon. Dixon a cross-court pass that Medlin couldn't handle, but the second row of Trojan Coliseum does. 59-52, 6:50 to go, fourth quarter. Kyrese Mills with it. Back to Julius Barnes on the top of the key. Barnes dribbles between his legs, drives the lane, kicks it over to Justin Baird, driving on the right block, went up against Gary Clark, and Clark won the battle. Now Dixon on the other side, Justin Baird will be called for the foul. His third, team's eighth. One-and-one situation. 15 for 26. Clayton at the free throw line tonight. Certainly, they've had better nights at the free throw line, but they're still able to hold this lead. However, Chris Dixon was unable to knock down that shot. Gary Clark's going to be called for his third personal foul, team's fifth. It'll remain Garner basketball as it's only the fifth foul. Justin Baird inbounds, gets it into Julius Barnes. Man-to-man full court pressure, and Barnes draws a foul on Trey Armstead. Armstead's second, team sixth. Justin Baird set to inbound just inside, just in front of the scorer's table, gets into the backcourt to Julius Barnes. Trey Armstead guarding Barnes, gets it over to Darius Simmons. Simmons thought about driving left block. But first, Dawson Medlin was called for his first one-on-one situation. We're shooting the free throws, the rest of the fouls, unless they're offensive in this contest. Darius Simmons with the free throw line. Garner certainly happy to have him there for this one-on-one situation. His first shot misses. Of course, I jinxed him. Sorry, Darius. Armstead, well, slowly walking up the floor. 6:16 to go, fourth quarter, 59-42. Dixon with it, gave it into Gary Clark. Clark beat his man, now drives, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Kyrese Mills. Mills was just trying to draw the charge, but he was unable to set his feet correctly. Mills with his second foul. No harm there. You got 5, you may as well use them. And Gary Clark will head to the free throw line where he's had better days as well. Knocks down this first one. .6:07 to go, fourth quarter of play. Clark's second free throw skies off the backboard, and Justin Baird came away with the rebound. Julius Barnes rushing it up the floor, drives all the way to the left block, and lays it in for 2. Cameron Newkirk set to bounce it up the floor for Clayton. Dixon had open room, goes up against Jay-Sean Smith, count the basket and the foul. Jay-Sean Smith just got him with a little too much contact. Smith's second. And Alex Reed will come in for Justin Baird. Chris Dixon will head to the free throw line for a +1 opportunity. Chance to extend the lead to 9 points. That's exactly what he does. 63-54, 5:46 to go, fourth quarter. Alex Reed with it comes across the timeline. Now to Kyrese Mills in the left wing. Mills over into the hands of Darius Simmons. Simmons back to Barnes. Barnes over on the left side. Gives it to Simmons. Simmons to Kyrese Mills. Right corner 3, no good. Mills fouled his shot, got the rebound. Pump fakes against Gary Clark, goes around him, and puts it in for 2. Kyrese Mills working there. Julius Barnes, full court pressure on Jake Turner as they bring it up the floor. Now over to the hands of Dawson Medlin, Now Trey Armstead with it. Armstead pushes away Darius Simmons, passes the ball over to Jake Turner. Turner hesitates to step, now gives it over into the hands of Dixon. Dixon goes to Gary Clark, stripped away by the Trojans. Ball on the floor, Dixon came away with it, threw it straight to Darius Simmons, and it'll be Garner basketball as Jake Turner is going to be called for a foul. Turner's fourth, team's 8th, 1-1 for Darius Simmons. Jake Turner will walk up to the official and calmly asks him, hey, what happened? When you calmly walk up to an official and ask, hey, what did I do? Usually they'll be nice enough to answer you and explain what happened, but if you come across as confrontational, they've been known to whistle for a tee. Darius Simmons will knock down that free throw. Jake Turner seems satisfied with his explanation. Garner 12 of 16 from the free throw line. Simmons will knock down both of them, and Coach Gray wants a timeout. It'll be a full timeout, 63-58. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. Clayton leads 63-58 as we roll on down in the fourth quarter of play. 4:57 to go in the fourth quarter of play. When you look at the turnovers for each team, Garner with 18 turnovers so far, and Clayton's got 16. So it's kind of the reason for what Garner's doing in turnovers, Clayton's doing in missed free throws. That's why this game is able to be at a 5-point game, 63-58, 4:57 to go, fourth quarter of play. Trey Turner trying to inbound, gets it into Gary Clark. Clark pushing it up the floor, dribbles through everyone. Kyrie Mills stripped it away. 2-on-1. Mills bounce pass over to Jay-Sean Smith. He goes to the hole and lays it in. Jay-Sean Smith making a 3-point game. Garner with an aggressive full court press. Turner losing control of the basketball. He's on the floor with it. Garner's all over him and a jump ball is called. It'll be Garner basketball. Donald Williams and the Garner student section are on their feet with excitement. Don't go anywhere. The last 5 minutes of this contest are going to be exciting. Kyrie Mills gets it into Julius Barnes deep in the backcourt. Barnes comes across the timeline on the right side. He will put up a shot just inside the elbow. It's no good. Rebound ripped down by the hands of Chris Dixon. 63-60, 4:23 to play. Dixon kicks it back over to the hands of Armstead. Armstead with it. Back to Dixon over on the left wing. Armstead top of the key with it now. Now into the hands of a cutting Derek Medlin, trying to get it to Gary Clark. They do, and Alex Reed's going to be called for a foul. That's Alex Reed's 5th foul. Alex Reed is fouled out of the contest with 6 points so far, and Justin Baird will re-enter for the Trojans. 63-60, 4:09 to go. When you look at foul troubles for each team, Paris Tinsley has 4, Justin Baird with 3, Julius Barnes also with 3 for the Trojans, Jake Turner with 4, Gary Clark with 3. Clark's at the free throw line, misses that one. 17 of 31. The Clayton Comets just have not been able to find their luck at the stripe tonight. Clark gets his second one to fall. 64-60, 4-point game. Coming up on 4 minutes to play. Justin Baird with it across the timeline for the Trojans. Kyrie Mills drives, faked a shot, gave it over to Jay-Sean Smith. His jumper too hard. Justin Baird came away with a rebound, looking to do something with it, gives it to Smith. Smith thought about putting up a shot, instead gave it back to Darius Simmons. Justin Baird top of the key straight away. Now, Darius Simmons with it. Simmons looking to make something happen. Goes left, Medlin might have fouled him, no call. Tried to throw it past to Barnes, but instead it went to Armstead. Simmons got it back. Rebound, fought around for. Jay-Sean Smith comes away with it, puts it in for 2. Quickly on the other side, Gary Clark dribbling through everybody, puts an off-balance shot up. That one counts. Gary Clark goes coast to coast, 66-64. Julius Barnes quickly on the other side to Darius Simmons. Now to Justin Baird, Kyrie Mills, left wing. Mills with it. Over to Jay-Sean Smith, just inside the arc. He settles for an easy jumper. Jay-Sean Smith has found it. Full timeout called by Coach Eddie Gray, and that's going to give us a chance to take a timeout as well. 66-64. 3:11 to go. Fourth quarter of play. We'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. 66-44, 3:11 to go in the fourth quarter of play. An exciting environment inside Trojan Coliseum. 2 student sections that have respectfully gone back and forth with each other. It'll be Clayton basketball. Chris Dixon set to inbound. He will be able to run the baseline as Garner had made a basket before they got the ball. Trey Armstead gets the inbound, was double teamed. They go back to Dixon. Garner with a full court press. Dixon tries to break the press, gets it over to the hands of Jake Turner. Turner triple teamed. Now Gary Clark guarded one-on-one by Justin Baird. And we're going to see an offensive foul as Gary Clark hooked Justin Baird. And how about this? That's Gary Clark's 4th foul. Gary Clark has been a man on a mission. Inbound comes into Darius Simmons. Simmons looking to make something happen with it. Kyrie Mills on a reverse pass inside the front court. Now, thought about giving it to Julius Barnes. He keeps it himself. Jay-Sean Smith drives through, goes up with an off-balance shot. Jay-Sean Smith has tied the game at 66. 2:40 to go, fourth quarter of play. Gary Clark breaks the press. gets it into the hands of Armstead. Clark with it, lost control of the basketball, and a foul is called on Darius Simmons. Much to the dismay of Garner Trojan faithful, Darius Simmons picks up his first. Gary Clark headed to the free throw line. But you got to take a look at Clayton's free throw numbers. Clark misses the first one. 19 of 33 at the free throw line are the Clayton Comets. And late in this game, they are going to count. Under 3 minutes to play. Clark's second free throw, no good. Jay-Sean Smith comes away with a rebound, gives it into Kyrese Mills. Coach Gray telling his team, guys, let's slow it up. Do not want to make a mistake here. Kyrese Mills with it. Over to Jay-Sean Smith. He thought about three. He's going to drive in on Clark, and a charge is called. Jay-Sean Smith will be called for his third foul. I have to agree with that call. Gary Clark had position. Both feet were set. He knew Jay-Sean was coming in at him. He just set his feet and took it. 2:19 to go. Tie ball game at 66. Jake Turner gets the inbound into Chris Dixon. He's double teamed and Kyrese Mills tripped him up. Mills smiles at the official. He knows he picked up the foul. Mills is third. Double bonus situation for Clayton. Chris Dixon to the free throw line. Nobody for Clayton. Is down low underneath. Dixon knocks down the first shot. There was debris that ended up on the court. Referees came over and asked Jimmy Kelly to announce that if any more is thrown on the floor, that a technical foul will be issued. 67-66. Clayton leads. Dixon, second free throw. He knocks down both of them. 2:14 to go. Garner quickly up the other side. Kyrese Mills driving towards the basket. He puts up one off the backboard. No good. Jay-Sean Smith came away with a rebound. He puts up a shot. Jay-Sean Smith missed her fourth quarter today. Jake Turner might have traveled, no call. Everybody in the gym thought it was a travel, and a timeout is taken by Clayton. It'll be a full timeout. My, oh my. I do not want to be an official right now. 68, ball game is tied, 1:57 to go. Fourth quarter, we'll be right back here on the Trojan Sports Network. Tie ball game at 68 with 1:57 to go in the fourth quarter of play. My, oh my, what an exciting game we have had here tonight. Jay-Sean Smith with 12 points alone in the fourth quarter. He had 18 points in total the first time these two teams played at Clayton. Jake Turner set to inbound. Lobs one up, gets it into the hands of Armstead. Clock will run, 1:55. Dixon over to the hands of Medlin, back to Dixon. Dixon with it. Looking to push the pace of this ball game. He drives the lane, goes up with a shot. Foul was called. This is going to be big as to who it's on. It's going to be on Kyrese Mills, his fourth foul. Tie ball game at 68. Chris Dixon misses the first free throw. And Xavier Williams will come in, so Clayton trying to go with a bigger lineup. As Dixon will have one more. Tie ball game at 68, 1:47 to go, fourth quarter. Both teams will be shooting 2 free throws on fouls for the rest of the way out. Second free throw, no good for Dixon. Justin Baird pulls down the rebound. Darius Simmons to the hands of Kyrese Mills. Now Simmons back with it. Over to Mills. Garner just looking to kill time off the clock. Mills with it over in the corner, has a stare at his head basketball coach. He's just holding it right there. Clayton now going to go out on him. 5-second count has started. Mills doing a great job of being court aware. Needs to get rid of it. Drives to the lane, makes a pro hop, two steps, and Kyrese Mills knocks it down. Garner leads. Jake Turner on the other side at 3, drives right baseline, went to go up with a shot. Mills reached in there and hacked him. Kyrese Mills has picked up his 5th foul. What a performance by Kyrese Mills tonight, the 6'3", 175-pound senior. And he will now head to the bench and be the Garner Trojans' #1 cheerleader. What a day for Kyrese Mills. 12 points for the senior. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jake Turner has 2 big free throws right here. Misses the first. 20 of 39 in total at the free throw line for Clayton tonight. They have missed almost 20 free throws. Second one falls good. Garner quickly gets the inbounds into the hands of Darius Simmons. He's got it against Chris Dixon, pushing it up the floor, gets across the timeline to Nick Coons. Coons had the pass tipped away by Dixon. He ripped the pass back away. Jay-Sean Smith is wide open underneath the basket. Lets 2 men go over him and puts it in for 2. Julius Barnes quickly on the other side. Now Gary Clark breaking the press, trying to go the other way. Barnes tipped the ball away, saved it, but he just barely stepped on the baseline. 40.1 seconds left, 72-69, Trojans lead. Oh goodness, Coach Gray wants a timeout. Coach Gray probably wants a Benadryl as well. Do not go anywhere. We are coming down the stretch in an exciting ball game. We'll be right back here on the Trojans Sports Network. Garner leads 72-69 with 40.1 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter of play. If there were a way to describe this game, Larry Beck would put it best. Wow. Let's recap things for you. Garner and Clayton were tied at 15 after the first quarter of play. Clayton led 33-31 at halftime. Clayton led 55-48 at the end of the 3rd quarter. Garner leads 72-69. We've seen 8 lead changes in this ballgame so far. There's 40 seconds left in regulation. Jake Turner set to inbound. Gets it inside to Gary Clark. Clark goes up with a shot. Count the basket! Gary Clark drew the foul from Darius Simmons, only his 2nd, and Clark will head to the free throw line. Gary Clark with an opportunity to tie the ball game right here on an old-fashioned 3-point play. The Cincinnati commit bends at the knee, puts the free throw up, no good. Jay-Sean Smith comes away with a rebound. Darius Simmons with it, looking to push it up the floor, runs into the hands of Medlin. Medlin, get it into the hands of Jay-Sean Smith. He drives to the basket and a foul is called. Jay-Sean Smith headed to the free throw line. Chris Dixon called for his 2nd foul, team's 10th. Jay-Sean Smith to the free throw line for 2 shots. Jay-Sean Smith being instructed to tuck in his jersey. Smith, a 6'5", 180-pound sophomore at the free throw line for 2 shots. Big man takes 3 dribbles, spins the ball in his hand. First shot up, bounces off the front of the rim, the back of the rim, and falls in. Garner 14 of 17 at the free throw stripe tonight. 73-71, 26 seconds, they lead. Jay-Sean Smith misses the 2nd shot. It's gonna be Garner basketball. Chris Dixon couldn't handle the rebound, it got tipped away. Nick Coons set to inbound. Baseline right. Lobs it in, Justin Baird. Baird trying to get it back to Simmons, that's what they do. Simmons with it in the front court. Trying to get time off the clock. Double teamed. High cross-court pass. Nick Coons with it. Coons is going to dribble back out. He's finally fouled. 12 seconds left on the clock. 73-71. Justin Baird trying to excite the Blue Crew. Nick Coons headed to the free throw line. The 6'2", 170-pound sophomore played JV basketball last year. This year, he's in there working hard. Nick Coons to the free throw line. Jay-Sean Smith goes and
There's a timeout on the floor. Trey Armstead, his third.